Due to my failure as an AV person, we don't have a good recording of your talk that you gave at the NoCode meetup last week, Darrell. But so thank you so much for taking a few minutes to come online and to go through the talk again. So we've got a recorded version, and I will pass over to you, if that's okay.
Okay, thanks, Ollie. So yeah, as Ollie says, this is just a quick recording of a talk I did a couple of weeks ago with NoCode Scotland in November 23, and the topic is using Hexomatic, which is a no-code platform, using Hexomatic to automate tedious market research tasks and also automate some interesting ChatGPT tasks. Just before I get into it, a couple of quick disclaimers. I'm not a Hexomatic expert. I'm not a power user or anything like that. It's just a tool I discovered maybe a year ago. Didn't use it much for the first while. I wasn't too sure, but it's starting to become quite a useful tool that I'm starting to use increasingly regularly. I'm not a marketing guru, but I do have a small business to run, and Hexomatic has been pretty useful and a good time saver, helping me with my own marketing tasks. A quick review of who I am, what I do. My name's Darrell Wilson. I was formerly a coder. I've been a web developer since 2010. I run my own little agency, boutique agency, doing custom web design and development. Worked for a few big publishing companies and other startups around that time. In 2018, I started working with the Leith agency in Edinburgh, senior front-end developer, working in quite a large team on very large, complex websites for the likes of Nando's, National Galleries of Scotland, Lloyd's. By around 2019, I was burnt out with coding and just couldn't really face taking on any more coding projects. Familiar story. It's quite often happens with coders. After a while, they just really can't face doing it anymore. But I did have my own business to run and a young family, so I kind of pivoted into other services that I've always provided for clients, such as SEO and content strategy. They were never they were never a core offering, but they were something I always did. So I did a sort of sideways move and started to focus on those. I relaunched my company just to include marketing in the name, just to change the focus slightly. So it's Make Digital Marketing. I run an SEO and content growth consultancy for clients, and I've been enjoying my work again ever since that. So the tool I'm going to do a quick run through is Hexomatic. It's a few years ago. I think it's a few years old. It's probably not well known yet, but it seems to be sort of growing all the time, and there seems to be sort of growing awareness of it from what I can see. They describe it as a web scraping and AI work automation tool. I like the description: tap into the internet as your own data source and automate 100+ sales, marketing, research tasks on autopilot. That summarizes it as good as I can think. What does that mean? So basically, you use Hexomatic to crawl the web. If you can find it on Google, it can crawl it. It can extract content from what it finds on Google. So from websites, Amazon listings, LinkedIn. It can export that into lots of different apps, but I usually use it to export into Google Sheets, to collate a lot of data in one place very quickly. So as it says, it doesn't require any complex software or any coding, and it's very much a point-and-click tool, really easy to use. Integrates with a lot of well-known platforms: Slack, Discord, WordPress, Google Docs. So just fits in generally with most workflows. On the website, they break down a few different use cases for it: research, doing market analysis, researching products, scraping Google News. Quite an interesting one is running automated accessibility audits on websites. Again, lots of different. There's actually a lot more than this. This is just a screen grab off the top of the page. There are dozens more underneath this. sales tasks, scraping products, scraping Google Maps, listings, scraping phone numbers from websites. For ChatGPT, this is a fantastic integration actually, which makes ChatGPT far more usable than it is by default. They can automate and rerun recurring tasks. You can put in custom prompts for it to run repeatedly, and again, export everything into Google Sheets. So how do I use it for my kind of work? So a quick intro, just really brief introduction. SEO, what is SEO? It is optimizing a client's website to try and get it to rank as high as possible within Google search results. So the aim is to increase traffic to the client's website, grow their brand visibility, attract new customers, increase leads and sales. Really, it's a business development objective. That requires a mix of business strategy, understanding what the client's business is, where their users are online, search engine algorithms, technical skills, those coding skills that I used to use come into play in this, research skills, copywriting, soft skills. So a couple of client wins that we've had would be, this is just one niche that we work with, some large sort of wedding venues in Scotland in different regions. So Gosford House in East Lothian, Neathpath Castle in the Borders. We've managed to get both of these clients onto page 1 of Google search results for their particular niche in their particular regions. So from a marketing point of view or a sales point of view, I'm keen to get in touch, I should say, with potential clients in a similar niche in other regions of Scotland. Because, so what I want to do is find clients who aren't on page 1 of Google already and see if we can help them get onto page 1 because they might need, SEO help. So how would I go about that manually, finding businesses that need SEO help? So let's say I could search Google for businesses that aren't on page 1 for their niche or their region, go to their website, try to find the contact details, copy and paste their details into columns in a Google Sheet, repeat that for each potential client. But obviously, that's a really time-consuming, tedious process. So is there an easier way to do all of this research? Well, we saw on a previous slide that one of the Hexomatic workflows is scrape Google search to a spreadsheet. So that sounds like a sensible approach. So within Hexomatic, I can really easily set up a workflow in a few clicks to do this task for me. So what I'm doing here is I'm telling Hexomatic I want to search for wedding venues in Aberdeenshire. That's a region that I haven't worked with any clients, so there must be potential clients there. I want to see search results out with the top 10 positions. So I'm asking it to just list from position 10 to position 100 in Google search results. I want it to scrape the email address from each of the client's websites that it finds. I want it to pull out the SEO data from each website that it finds and save that for me so I can see at a glance if the client actually really needs SEO help. And then I want it to export all the data to a Google Sheet for me. So the entire workflow took maybe 2 minutes to set up, 4 clicks, entering a search and just telling it where to put that data. So rather than spending all this time searching Google myself, I can go and have a coffee and wait for Hexomatic to send me an email when the results are ready. It takes around 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, usually, depending on the kind of workflow that you've set up. Then I can go review the results in the Google Sheet and I can instantly see at a glance 3 or 4 potential clients there right at the top of this list, but there's also about 100 more, excuse me, that I can't fit on this screenshot. So how would I scale this up for other regions, perhaps for other niches? All I do is duplicate my original workflow, just takes 1 click, change the Google search that I'm asking it to run. I could maybe find SaaS companies in Glasgow, SaaS companies in East Lothian, This just happens to be the wedding niche that I'm discussing. So just a matter of changing the niche, changing the region. And this is just another example. Another way I've used Hexomatic is, rather than going and looking for potential clients that way, what I'm doing with this search is trying to find potential agency partners for the kind of work I do. So I work with quite a lot of agencies who bring me in as an external SEO consultant on their projects. Quite often they don't have an SEO person in-house. So what I'm looking for in this search is a platform called Craft CMS, a content management system that I used to work with. There's quite a lot of boutique agencies around the UK, and it's an easy way for me to find out who's out there and maybe pop them an email and just offer to work with them if they're looking for a partner. And again, within a few minutes, it was just found all the Craft CMS agencies in the UK, stored them in a spreadsheet, and then just whenever I'm ready to do a bit of outreach work, I just scan through this. I've got all the emails collected. I've got their websites. Just massive time saver. So moving on to look at some of the ChatGPT automation examples. As you see, it can run ChatGPT tasks in bulk, create social media posts and more. There's a lot you can do with this. So just as a quick example here, what I've done is started creating a workflow for ChatGPT. I've asked it to scan the Codebase website. I wanted to return 50 pages I just want to sort of use this as an example. Then I've asked it to run a particular ChatGPT on all the pages that it finds. I want ChatGPT to assume the persona of an SEO expert. I wanted to rewrite the SEO title tag. You don't need to understand what these are, but it's just an example of how I can use it for my work. I want it to follow best SEO practices and export it to a spreadsheet as usual. And this is the output that I get within a few minutes. It's showing me the original page title, and it's showing me then ChatGPT's refined or optimized page title, which if they were a client, if this was a client of mine, I could suggest these as a potential title. I'm not saying I would use them as is. We still might do some tweaking, but again, it's a huge time saver. Another quick one, using ChatGPT for social media. So what I've asked it to do here is take a few of the upcoming events at Codebase, and then I want it to draft a LinkedIn post to help publicize these events. So for each event, I'm asking ChatGPT to assume the persona of a social media marketing expert. I want it to write a LinkedIn post that is engaging. I want it to include up to 5 relevant hashtags for the event. Again, a huge time saver rather than starting these from scratch every time. And I can't fit them all in this screenshot, but that's a couple of the output that we get from it, a couple of the draft LinkedIn posts. It's included the hashtags as I'd asked it to. Again, needs tweaking, but a really good start, a huge time saver. So, as I said before, there are a huge amount of use cases for Hexomatic, and I think it's kind of, you could use your imagination, just try and think how you use the web for research for your business. This can just help you automate lots of different tasks. I find that what I quite like about using Hexomatic is it kind of, you can get quite creative with it. It's not like there aren't just like fixed processes for everything. You can think of processes as you go. You kind of discover new techniques as you play with it. You get ideas. That's why I enjoy using it. There is a free trial, which is quite limited, and you do have to pay for it. But what I would suggest was, if you were wanting to run some research, you could pay for this for a month and basically run as much research as you can get away with in a month, collate all that data into your Google Sheets, and then that could fuel your kind of outreach marketing for months and months to come. you can dip in and dip out as you need it. I don't think you need to commit to an ongoing subscription if you don't really need it all the time, but it could certainly be a massive time saver for some particular tasks. So that is our very limited run through of Hexomatic. I hope you go and play with it, have fun with it. It's a fun tool to use. You can find me on LinkedIn, pop me an email if you're interested, if you want to discuss. I'd be keen to hear how you've used it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Darrell. It's not quite the same as, you know, in person, but yeah, no, thank you. Super appreciate you taking the time to do this.